What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. Julian says we're always late. Still, actually, it's the first time in months, basically. But I
He's
was
lying.
sorry.
He's not watching. He's lying.
Yeah, like usually we're on time, or I'm on time. But today I'm a bit late. I was out. My apologies. But here we are for one of the last post game live shows, basically, and we're just live. So apologies, people. I don't know what it is, but we're live now, finally, for one of the last match reactions or post game match reactions, um, where we are probably going to discuss the most pointless games we will ever play. Like not even preseason games are more meaningful in my opinion. But with me today, as always, Norbert, how are you doing after a spectacular game?
I'm doing well, thank you. And I'm watching the last 10 minutes of the Juventus next gen and watching the next generation playing relatively well.
Yeah, I had
Um,
no time to watch that. I watched the previous game. I had no time to watch this one. Um, I'll probably catch up the highlights or the extended highlights later on. Um, but like I said, it's one of our last games of the season. We play on Saturday. Um, got moved from Sunday to Saturday, so we play on Saturday our last game against Monza. Meaningless game. I know people in the comments are like, "Oh, it's 2.5 million more if you finish third." I get it, but the players are not thinking about that, so it's meaningless. Period. It's just
yeah,
that's just what it is. That's how we kicked off the game yesterday. I think half of that team was still drunk. That
yeah,
will only explain the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes of that game because it was chaotic. It was bad. Like it was as simple as like there were errors that you usually don't like ever make. How poor we have been, you don't make those type of errors. But it was one of those games that probably a lot of people turned off after it was 3-0. I watched the moment we got one back. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a close game for some reason, and well, it was extremely close. We could have won it in the end. Definitely didn't deserve to win it. Actually, we should have been we should have been 4 or 5 down, but we weren't. But yeah, the game in itself, like points, whatever. Like the reaction is good, but the reaction, like all of it, at the end of the day, is still meaningless because um, it's going to change all in the summer, and nothing is going to change in the last 2 games. Like Montero is just there to fulfill an official job. That's it. I don't think he's even training the team. I think he's just overseeing people actually showing up for training, and that's about it. There's nobody
yeah,
going into training with intensity like the Euros around the corner. It's pointless. But at the end, it was a fun it was a fun game at the end. As neutral, looking at how Motta play, looking at how Calafiori plays, and for us, just seeing Yildiz pop up again, I guess, that reaction when we switch formation, completely different. That's why the title of the show. There's talent enough to do much better than we have been doing right now. Basically, that's my takeaway of that game.
yeah. What I loved the most is how Chiesa and Yildiz played at the end together. Oh my God, they have to play together next season because both of them has that spark that can decide games. But yeah, other than that, Motta was also like he played some C third string players um, and whatnot at the end. And the second Califiori was subbed off. That Bologna defense was really shaky. And yeah, we punished it. And I just didn't want to lose like after 3-0. I just didn't want to lose like 5-0 or something. And yeah, the first goal and the second and the third, and then the Chiesa chance. It was crazy. It was crazy. I know people who turned off the TV at halftime. Um, Juventus fans, but well, they deserve it because I don't know. I like to see us coming back, even if it's a meaningless game. And yeah, I love to see all this also to play, and I won't miss it. But yeah, another meaningless game on Saturday, and then the season is over, and hopefully the fun part is coming. Maybe with some hard decisions, who to sell, who to buy, whatever. But yeah, I just can't wait this season to be over because it was long enough, I feel.
Yeah. Um, I agree. You know, I think like you can have had, or you could push if you want today. You could have pushed 1,000 agendas. For fun, okay, but actually, some people were actually serious, and in the media, actually, journalists were serious about, this is Allegri. Like it was a joke of a game. Like it's pointless. You cannot take anything away from that game that you already, or like that you didn't know. Like we know Calafiori is good. We know Motta is a good coach because he was playing without Sirixi, without Orsolini, without Salamakers. Ferguson is injured, and every player knew what he had to do, what they had to do. That's what we, or like me, or I personally spoke on this channel many times, that if you rely on individual brilliance, we will look like the way we look. He was missing four players by design, you know, for Salamakers. Salini was out, Sirixi, Ferguson, and they look the same, you know.
Yeah,
Somebody said, oh, but the game also showed that he bottles it. If Lukumi just think twice and at the end the other guy just passes it to Yildiz, like that's just the end of the season type of vibe, you know, and it's just nonchalant. Like it's individual brainless errors that brought us back into the game, you know. So there's no real takeaways from that game besides the fact that, like Julian saying, like Calafiori is extremely good, you know. Actually, defensively, it's going under the radar because everybody, like, if you look at the stats, everybody's talking about his pass accuracy, the goals, obviously, the finishing, stepping up in midfield, you know, breaking the lines, defending high. That was out. That was what I was looking like. The goal, the third goal, like defensively, I don't think everybody's speaking about him, but not defensively. I think defensively he's good. He's solid, you know, which is weird because everybody's speaking. Oh, he can play out from the back. He can step up on the pitch, you know,
yeah,
which is good, which is obvious if you see him play. But defensively, um, he's great. You know, he's absolutely like he's what people think Gatti is when he's when he's stepping up the pitch. It's just quality, you know, and defensively he's good. So I think it's obvious first signing that needs to happen. I think somebody in the chat put we're gonna lose him to Tottenham. People keep talking about
no way.
Tottenham, but I'm confused with the news. I don't see a Tottenham news. I don't see the point of going to Tottenham. So I don't get the comments every single time when we talk about Calafiori and it's about Spurs.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
if if we get Motta, we will get Califiori. I think as simple as that. And then even if we don't get Motta, we might get Califiori. But yeah, the dude is crazy. How Bologna plays is that in attack, the center backs are like adventurous, so they go forward, and the wing backs or the full backs rather they go to the middle. That's how they defend, and in the very middle is the goalkeeper. That's how they. I mean, that's when it's attack. That's how they are. So that's why the I can see, for example, Danilo start in the back, one of the like right back, for example, if we can't manage to buy anyone solid, because
I don't want
that's
to see
why
Danilo on the team.
California's defense.
I
Yeah,
don't want to see him in the team. I'm sorry.
yeah,
He's just not
I don't
it.
know what's gonna happen.
Like,
Yeah,
uh, I'm sorry. I know the game was meaningless, but like no, like I don't like he had an excellent game in the Copa final. I gave him credit, but
yeah,
that's
but now
about it.
again,
Like,
yeah,
but also a takeaway from that game is the first 15 minutes were just like, the way they pressed. It was ridiculous. Like it was absolutely ridiculous.
wow,
And also the movement off the ball. I was looking at us when we had or whoever was in possession, and it's just I'll pass it to you and you take care of it. It's like whatever, you know, don't look at me anymore. I just pass you the ball, you figure it out. That's how we play. And that's how we struggle at times. Like when people talk about these players are not good enough, which I agree, you know, if you want to compete for the title, no, you know, I get it. If you want to build something to make sure you can compete in a year or two, then yeah, we need 4 or 5 signings and a new coach. But to do the most basic stuff, you just need a better coach, in my opinion, because off the ball movement is non-existent with us. Like I was watching Bologna in the
Yeah.
first half, and I was like, yeah, they like it's all over the place. Like somebody comes in, somebody overlaps. Like the player in possession has different options. With us, they have one option. It's just play it back or try to do it on yourself, on your own. That's how we play. And that first half was ridiculous. Like the contrast was so weird. And I was sitting back and I was like, they're missing 4 players as well. It's ridiculous. Like they're smoking us with 4 starters out, and not just random starters, like key players like
Yeah.
Salamakers, Calafiori, Calafiori, Zirixi. Like they're key players for them. Like they're not scrubs for them in that type of team. Orsolini, Ferguson, been out for a while now, gone for a season or a year. So that was a takeaway that it's gonna take time, but obviously, I think he's still not my number one choice, as people know. But I think he's shown enough that he can actually coach. Like he can actually coach, because everybody was talking about the Bologna team. I was watching that game. We were getting dominated by players I never heard about. Like I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
honest right here. I don't know these guys' names. They were dominating us, and not just
Yeah.
fluky, like really suffocating us in that first half. Like it was embarrassing. Actually, until the Chiesa goal, it was embarrassing. Like they were suffocating. They were toying with us. Players nobody wants at the club right now. Besides Calafiori, nobody wants any player out of the Atalanta team, Bologna team. And still, they manage to absolutely outplay us. Um, I think that's a sign of a good coach. That's just me.
Yeah. So he has a system, and almost I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but almost doesn't matter who plays, because every player knows their role and how to play. So I like those type of coaches, because also it makes easier to navigate on the transfer market, and hopefully we can raise some players and we can sell them for good money with a coach like that.
The
But yeah,
Somebody said earlier on, I forgot the name. Excuse me. Um, said about the switch at in the end, which did help. Montero just came in. He was like, "Whatever, guys. Like, I talked to you once, not even because he said I got emotional, so I stopped. So he didn't
yeah,
even address the team. It was like 3-5-2, whatever. Go out there, and then I think it was 3-0. He was like, yeah, screw this. 3-4-3, or 4-3-3, whatever. Yildiz, get out there. Chiesa, you go on the right, and it looked much better because you get players you like your most best you get your best players in better positions. It's just basic stuff, but it is what it is. You don't have your fullback carrying the ball to Chiesa every single time, without really overlapping. You just get Chiesa an open space and yield this, and that's it. So that was maybe something to also look forward to. That's why the title is that we have good enough players to do much better, you know. But that's up to the next coach. Yeah, Julian, he's not gonna bench. Like I want Monta to come in and bench Danilo, but I don't think he can bench him because I don't think he's gonna have options. That's
yeah,
that's it. So he's gonna play Danilo, and that's what people now are seeing, that he's gonna play because he has no other options. Not really because he's any good. I'm sorry. People can talk about it as much as they want. He's not a good player. Like I just don't care. Like I will never speak on Danilo when he's gone. I will never talk about Danilo playing for this club. I'm sorry. Like it's just what it is. You can talk as much as you want. He's not a memorable player. He's not that good. I will still talk about Chiesa, and he didn't have the best times as of now. It wasn't that. It's not that he's setting the Juve world on fire, but I will talk about him. I will. But I'm not gonna talk about Danilo when he's gone because he's a player like thousands of players we had in our club history. In my opinion, I will just forget. Over 10 years, I will not think about Danilo. He's one of those players who was part of the club. Like like I said, hundreds have been part of the club. Good players, and that's about it. So, but he's not going to bench him because I don't think he's. I don't think he has options.
yeah. But,
That's
yeah, but
it.
we don't know yet. Like maybe we sell more than we thought, and maybe there's a bigger shakeup, and we have more money, and then we might be able to find a cheap starter for for that position, for the right back position. And because honestly, how Motta plays, those fullbacks, they don't really cross the midfield. Yeah, mm, rarely. They are really defending. So I don't know.
Yeah. Wait, one sec. You speak. I had.
Yeah. So the next gen game just ended. It's 1-1. It was an interesting game. Most of the time we had the ball like 70%, and I think we should win the second game. They had a fluky goal like from I don't even know 20 plus meters out, and we had some good chances and we missed them. So yeah, um, and yeah, I made a list of the best talents from the next gen, and that will come at one point. And Hanin also from the under 19. I think it should be interesting to see the next up and coming players. Um, but yeah, hopefully next year we can see some more players playing for the first team.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was doing something. People are saying, "Where are you watching the next gen team?" I think it's on FIFA TV, or that's how I've watched
Mm,
it the last couple of.
yeah, yeah. Most of the games are there. I would say like 80 plus percent of the games, and today as well it was there. So FIFA Plus, it's free, completely free. You don't even need to register. You just download the app. Um, or I'm not sure. Maybe if you do FIFA Plus or something in the browser, you can watch it as well. But I didn't try that.
Yeah. But I've not watched today. Um, what else? What else? No, I do know what else because somebody said Diallo, and that's reminded me of something I want to talk about. Alexandro cannot break a Netfet's record. He can only tie it, which also should not happen. So I'm hoping Montero, who played with Netfet, is like, I'm not gonna do this, because and people are like, oh, you cannot do that to Sandro. He deserves to do that. He deserves to have that spot. No, he does not. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's not natural.
It's not because he's been here that he deserves that spot. He shouldn't be. Like he shouldn't be on that list with Netfet at the top. He shouldn't. Period. Nothing against Alexander, good guy, but should have been gone 3 years ago. So that's a no for me. It's good that he didn't play him yesterday. I think he actually knew, to be honest. I actually believe he knew, and he was like, "I'm not gonna do this." And also, throughout the game, if it was Allegri, he would have subbed him in. 3-0 down,
Yeah,
Alexandro, you go. Pointless, but you go. Like that, it
yeah.
would be absolutely shameless. But yeah, that's also positive. I think somebody said Diallo. I was kind of surprised that we didn't see Diallo, but then we were 3-0 down, and I was like, yeah, again, like you're not gonna sub in Diallo. Like it's weird.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you shouldn't be doing that. And he didn't, so that's good. I don't think he's gonna play on Saturday as well. I don't think he's gonna play
You
Diallo.
think Montero will field like a 4-3-3 or something, or
I
the
think he
same
will. I think he will.
five three
No, I
two?
think he will change it up for the last game. I think he will do something a little bit different. I think he will.
Yeah,
I think he's just looking
yeah. I
at not
agree.
losing, like the way he celebrated. I have nothing. People are like, oh, people are happy for the 3. Nobody was happy for the 3-3. I mean, actually, I don't see I don't know a single person who was celebrating 3-3. Like the only thing I was happy about was Montero. I was like, yeah, good for you.
Yeah,
Like,
and he got the record. Do you know the record he got? One
yeah,
game, one
yeah,
record.
yeah. I was like, good,
Nice.
happy for you. And you can see the way he speaks that I think off camera as he started crying. Like he couldn't believe he was in that position, no matter
Yeah,
being at completely meaningless games, or like the last 2 games of the season for him, it meant the world. Like the way you spoke about it, it was being
yeah,
honest. It was amazing for him. So I was happy for him. That's all. I hope he wins on Saturday as well. So
yeah.
he will have
Love to
that.
see him there. He looks
Yeah,
good on the sideline.
like I don't know, like I've watched him play. Obviously, I was extremely young, but I remember games. Everybody
Yeah,
saw the highlights. I think everybody knows what type of player he is.
I remember a
Um,
lot.
he
Those
was
years were my favorite years.
Like he wasn't one of the best. Like he wasn't the most gifted players. One of the most gifted players. But hey, he played a part.
Yeah,
He was key. Like he was key because a bit like Gattuso, not the most gifted player, but actually like he was a good defender. Like I don't want to do him disservice, but like it wasn't like, oh my god, pure talent, but it was hard. It was always 100%, no matter what, sometimes over the top. And actually now looking him on the sideline, it's complete difference. Like it's soft, like
yeah.
it's emotional, but happy for him. Like that's the only thing.
Yeah, lots of yeah. He was really aggressive, and I love to see it how now. Um, how many years later? Oh my God, 98 and stuff. Lots of years later, he's calm and he has kids, and even his kid is playing for under 19. It's I love to see that, and yeah, as I said, those years were my favorite with Montero and Ferrara or Giuliano there. I love the defense, and he was a little midget. He's a midget. He's not too tall, but he's really aggressive, and that's how he terrorized like Beckham as well. I remember one game at the end of, I don't know when was it, 99 maybe or 98. He destroyed Beckham in one game. I love that. But yeah, and maybe he will coach the under 23 next year, because I'm pretty sure Brambilla, who is coaching the next gen now, he will get picked up by some Serie B teams because he's really good. Um, his team progressed so much from during the season to now until now, and they're really good.
I don't think he's gonna go the next gen. I think I don't think the club. Like, if I'm being completely honest, he's not an amazing coach. But I, that's besides the point. Like he's having a good time, so I'm happy for him. I guess. What I didn't like was fans calling for a Lakers name. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah,
Just keep it moving right now. But that's always gonna happen, I guess. But yeah, man. It was good. Like even 3-0 down, I wasn't really stressed. I was like, yeah, whatever, funny, I guess. It's just what it is. They came back good. It's just now it's waiting to actually tomorrow Europa League final, and then it's just waiting until Saturday. Get the game done. Actually for myself, not doing match reactions anymore. I'm like good, like actually good. Doing all these videos and knowing the result is going to be poor. It's going to be the same thing over and over again. It's good to just be away from it right now and just be like, okay, it's done. It's over. Which is a very good feeling, I guess. But then the circus starts again. It starts again because I think next week is going to be a big week. If it's going to be Motta, it will be announced very, very soon. I think it will be
no,
announced at the start of the.
tomorrow. They said tomorrow or Thursday. I mean, Agresti said that. I don't know.
Yeah, they're gonna talk. I don't think they're gonna announce it before the end of the season. I don't. I don't.
Mm.
It could, but I would be surprised. I think it's more for start of next week type of thing. That's just my opinion. I think it will
Let's
be a
see.
bit weird to say I'm going to Juve now. I don't know. Like I can be completely wrong, but the way they've tried to slow down everything a bit, show respect to Bologna with all those things, I think it's gonna happen next week. I hope it's gonna be happening next week as well, because this week just should be about get it done, for all clubs, get it over with, and then
Yeah.
next week it's basically the new season already. You start over,
I just want it to be over, and if we announce or they announce Motta, then other things can happen as well faster, like Califiori maybe, and I don't know.
Yeah. Would you sacri- Who would you sacrifice, since we need sacrifice a big name? Actually, I'm gonna do keep
We don't need
Sal
to.
alone video live show. Probably
Nice.
next week or the first week of June. Like I'm still prepping it, so I will talk about that. Everybody can join. You can call in that show. It's gonna be a long show. But even now, it's difficult to say. Like you can say sell him, but if you don't have money to replace that player, then it's like yeah, keep him. Like
Yeah.
it's weird. I can say sell Sule, and I'm like, who's coming in? Like is Chiesa gonna say so? It's a weird one. Like I'm gonna base it on I'm not a fan of that player. I don't think he's good enough. Like that's how I'm gonna base it, knowing in the back of my mind that we're probably not going to move them all on because we don't have the facilities right now, literally, to replace all these players. So it is a difficult one. But I think if they sign Mota, over it will be Mota, they should be sitting around the table and they should be saying that, okay, what is it that you want to do? Because we are here to back you. Is it going to be a 4-3-3, whatever, or a 4-1? Like, just name it. What players do you need? How many midfielders do you actually need? Can we move on a couple of midfielders? Can we move on somebody up front? Do you need three strikers, basically, Key, Milik, Vlahovic? Or can we move? Like, that needs to be clear. And from that point, you can say, okay, that's the list you have, or these are the type of players you want. These are the type of players we have on our list, that align with your uh, point, whatever. And we need to make sacrifices. If you want him, we're probably gonna need to sell him. If you can live
Yeah,
without him, but you can sign one, you want one player we propose to you and you can work with, we potentially could keep player X we were gonna sell for another reason. So it's gonna be very difficult. I saw Romeo speaking, saying that we're actually interested in Zirkzee. So there's so many moving
yeah,
pieces right now that it's hard to say, like, what's gonna happen with McKennie, what's gonna happen with Rabiot, Sule, Barnice. I think these things need to get done before you go to, okay, now we need to sell a Bremer or whatever. I think these players need to, like, the future of these players need to get clear extremely quick in the process. Not selling them in week one, that's not gonna happen, but it needs to be obvious that we're gonna sell these players before the end of the window, and we need so much
I'm
money,
not.
and that's how
Yeah,
it should be going,
yeah.
in my opinion.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm so excited about this. I don't know, I just love transfer season so much. Sometimes even better than the actual season. Um, and yeah, and no one knows how much money we have because you heard 30, 40, 50. No one knows, and most of it will be transfers. We actually, like players who we actually sell. So, um, yeah, it's hard to say what is the best solution. Like sell Huisen, sell, I don't know, some youngsters. Obviously, the slack we have still at the club, and maybe we can keep the big guns. It's impossible, and thankfully, it's not my job. It's Juntol is, so it's fun to play with numbers and play with the names. But damn, that job is hard, really hard.
Yeah, I was
And the
checking the
Euros is
news.
coming.
Yeah, the Euros is
Euros is
coming.
coming as well. So how do you negotiate with players on the Euros and all that stuff? And
Yeah, prices are good. Like, if excuse me, if I'm a club with an asset, he's going to Euros, I'm gonna wait because the value is not gonna drop. Even if he
yeah,
has three bad games, the value is gonna be the same. If he has three good games, hey, Golovin, for example, everybody knows how that go. Like,
yeah,
that's how it works. James Rodriguez, like, these things work like that. That's just how it is. And some club are reactionary. I don't think we are. I don't think we are in a position to be so. But we're also looking at Italian players for now. I don't think that's gonna be the case. It's not even certain that Calafiori goes to Euros, by the way, as well, as of now. It would be criminal, but I wouldn't be shocked if Spalletti doesn't call him up. So somebody's saying, if the next gen promoted, a big chunk of the budget will be put into
nah,
them too. No, they have a different
no,
budget,
the
and even
opposite. Yeah,
they don't care if they go to Serie B
yeah.
and they go back to Serie C. It doesn't really matter for the club. It's just not going
It,
back
it
to Serie
actually,
D. That's
yeah, it's actually good because if we promote that, we don't need anyone because
you just stall them
you guys
there.
will see my list. Yeah, you guys just will see my list. Bunch of players from there. As I have a 5 player list, 4 of them actually can play in Serie B, in my opinion. So
But
I
even
think
if they make it to
it's
Serie B, like players like
yeah,
Facundo Gonzalez, you loaned out in Serie B, you just play them in
yeah,
your own team, basically. But I don't think they're gonna make
yeah,
it. But the budget, they have their own budget.
yeah,
They have their own budget. Like, it's separate. I don't think like you can have money coming from the first team actually going into that team because it's different leagues. I don't think it's even remotely capable to do so. So
yeah.
that's that. And actually, the budget in Serie B is so low. Even if it was the case, it shouldn't be worried about that. Um, but yeah, we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about transfers all 3 months basically. You know, it's just what it is. Especially this season because we are gonna need to do a lot in and out. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of contract situations. Loney's coming back. Arthur coming back. Like players are coming back from loan. Players you want to get rid
Saladin.
of. So it's gonna be a long summer. It's gonna be a long summer. But first, coach, like that needs to be clear. Uh, ASAP, you know, as soon as possible. Actually, like I said, next week. First day, is it going to be Mota? Okay, you announce Mota and you get it over with and you move on. You plan. The, if it's Mota, they already plan, you know, there's already a base in terms of, okay, this is what we can do, you know, because he's not going to sign a contract or agree contract, sign, and then sit back on the table and they're like, okay, Chiesa and Bremer are gone. We have no money. I don't really think it works like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
I like what Julian wrote about Turam and Loka.
Turam,
What
Loka, pivot
I
next
would.
season, and Fajoli attacking mid, unless you want to throw your
Yeah.
list goal minus. I've
No,
uh,
no, no.
I didn't watch Turam play besides one game, and it wasn't even full 90 minutes. I think
Not this year, no.
75 minutes. I didn't watch a lot of French football this season, which is a shame. But he didn't have a good season at all, from what I've read. The price dropped.
Yeah,
But if it's 20-ish mil, like has been reported, I think the club will jump on it. I think they would. You know, Locatelli. People know what I think about Locatelli, but I don't think he's that poor as people suggest. Um,
yeah,
so that's going to be interesting as well, Locatelli.
yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say because Mota's team, he would rather like he would be the right sided midfielder, right? And not definitely not the defensive midfielder.
No, I don't think
So
he's gonna.
I yeah. So do we have that? That's why Mota said allegedly. I don't know if it's true that he likes Baranachel. He would be perfect there as a squad player, not a starter. But we need something. Turam maybe can play there. I don't know. I didn't watch him this year. I watched like 5-6 games of Turam last year. He was pretty solid. He could play in the back, but I don't know.
Yeah. Um, we need to see. We're gonna need to see. It's a lot of talk right now. Which it's gonna get worse. You know, I've seen a report linking us to Berardi. I will actually close the channel if we sign Berardi. Like I don't have time for these rumors. I'm assuming that died. That completely died,
I don't
and
believe
it
that.
should have been dead years ago.
Yeah,
Someone is saying selling Weston to get Turam is a no-brainer. On a technical level, I agree. Like technically, Turam, like he's just a more talented player. Um, but yeah, Julian saying Brady cheap is good. Low, no, he's not. I'm sorry. Like he's injured.
especially
Like
not with his injury. Yeah,
I don't want that player at the club. Like the mindset of that player, I don't want that in the new team. I just don't want that.
yeah.
As a player who's scared to compete, we actually want to compete again. I don't want it. I don't want that. I just don't want that in the team. You know, he said no to playing for us and Inter and Milan because he was scared of or competing for the starting position. I don't want that. You know, especially now when he's getting at age with the injury. Like I don't want that at the club at all. You know,
Yeah,
um,
and we have wingers if we want. The squad is full with wingers. Iling Junior, where as you know, as a squad player option. And Sule, I don't know what's going to happen. And starters, we have Yildiz and we have Chiesa. So
yeah, I don't want Berardi. I just like it's like getting linked with Zaniolo again. Like just get it
yeah.
over with. There are 1,000 other players out there. Just keep it moving now. You know, that's just mine. That's just my opinion.
Oh, we have
Against
Adjic,
Como, it's fine.
Adjic as well.
Yeah, against Como, it's fine. Against Como, you can play McKennie on that position if he's still there. It should be fine as well. I think. I don't
I
want to
mean,
waste
they're gonna
money on
spend
Berardi.
money. They have rich owners, Como. I'm afraid. they, they're gonna come in for
I
a
think they're gonna
Champions League
go down
spot.
again. I think they're gonna go down again. But yeah, uh, transfer talk. That's for next week. Next week, I'll start doing full time transfer shows. Um, and we'll see. We'll see. It's It's gonna be very long. Something about Colt Miners attacking midfield disturbed me. The price disturbs me. That's not the player, but the price really disturbs me. He's not a 60 million player, and I like Colt Miners,
Yeah.
but he's not a 60
And
million
why
euro.
would we give whatever 50 plus million to Atalanta? I think it's crazy.
I don't think we're gonna do that.
We Yeah, I think eventually we will stop doing this, making other Italian teams rich. You know, I think
I
we
hope
really gonna stop this.
that, and it needs to be an Italian player. It doesn't need to be like, if
Yeah,
it's an Italian player, bonus. I get it, but if it's not, who cares? Oh,
yeah,
it's our DNA. Like DNA, you change like the DNA is winning. Period. Like, that's the DNA of the club. If you win with one Italian center back or three, you just need to win. So I'm not too fussed about, he's not an Italian or this and that. Like, if it's a bonus, if they are a fan of the club, good. But Locatelli is a fan of the club. I don't think he had the best of times. Cambiasso he had a fantastic season. Fagioli is back. I think people forget that as well. He came in, did well yesterday. Gave the midfield a different dimension. So a lot of things to consider next season. But it starts with Mota first. So we'll see. We'll see. First Monza on Saturday, just for the good old vibes, I guess. Last game
vibing.
of
Yeah,
just get it over with, basically, type of thing. And then we can move on to a very long summer, like actually 3 long months. It's gonna be, it's gonna be intense, in a good or a bad way. It's gonna be intense,
yeah. But
but
finally, we're gonna have some movement. We're gonna have some money to play with. We have some players to sell, get rid of, and the new coach, new ideas. I just can't wait for this whole summer.
yeah, it's gonna be a different vibe. It is, because
Yeah,
like, on top of that, for next season, what I'm looking forward to is we play more games. In a good or a bad way. It's just not focus on other things. And also I think now we can actually focus on football again. Like, I think pressers will be about football again. Media talking will be about football again, and not about the players are not good enough, the coach is not good enough. It's just real football, because that's been missing. I've watched some Mota presser. They talk about football in the presser. I watch an Allegri presser. It's not about football. Like, you don't learn anything from that presser. But let's see, man. Let's see. We're gonna wrap this one up, because I don't think anyone's really excited about talking the Bologna game nor the Monza game. I think everybody's looking forward to next week, basically. But we'll see.
yeah,
Maybe it will be announced this week. I will be kind of surprised, but if it will, I will be here. Everybody will be here, and we can you can make it official, I guess.
yeah. And 90% of the chat is about transfer rumors and
Yeah,
stuff, anyways. So
it's normal. It's normal.
yeah,
But yeah, people, like the video. If you haven't liked the video already, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button as well, notification bell on, especially now, because like I said, it's gonna be a hectic summer, and we will be here. I will be here, definitely. Norbert will be here, Malik will be here. I have some guest plans on to come on as well, so stay tuned for that. New shows coming very soon. It's gonna be a bit different next season, also because we play a lot of games. That means we're gonna need to watch a lot of teams, rivals play. That's gonna be new on the channel. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, Norbert. Thanks for joining, sharing the joy today, like the peaceful
yeah,
joy. And
yeah.
thanks, people in the chat. Speak to you very soon. Ciao.